Hey guys, welcome to another video here on the AviationPro channel. In this video I'm going to compare a landing between the Zibo Mod 737 in X-Plane 11 and the PMDG 737 in Prepared version 4. Both interesting products, both simulators are great. I've tested X-Plane 11 right now in a few videos as you may have seen. And right now I'd like to kind of compare what the aircraft feel like in both of these simulators. Now do keep in mind everything in X-Plane 11, every add-on that I use there is for free. So the Zibo Mod 737 is also free. But what I'm mainly interested in is the flight dynamics of that sim and how the flight model behaves in comparison to Prepared version 4 with the payware PMDG 737. So I'm not going to focus on the systems in this video, you know, with the FMC or things like that. I'm just going to try and land here at Gibraltar Airport in some very gusty crosswind conditions. So I hope you will enjoy it. So please keep in mind, I'm not going to focus on the systems. I'm just going to try to land the airplane and get a feeling what they feel like in different simulators. Even though the Zibo Mod 730 is free, but I think, you know, from what I've experienced so far, it feels pretty realistic, at least compared to flying a full-size 737 sim. So let's find out, see what happens. Here are the weather conditions that I've set in Prepared. I'm going to be setting the same weather conditions in X-Plane momentarily after I hopefully land the PMDG 737 properly at Gibraltar. Do keep in mind I've never actually landed in Gibraltar myself, so it's also new for me, which adds to the challenge, I think. And yeah, also the aircraft itself is configured. I've loaded about 3.5 to 4 tons of fuel, and the zero fuel weight is 55 tons. So I'm going to be entering the same in the Zibo Mod 737. Other than that, I'm just going to do a normal landing with flaps 30. I'm just going to kind of guess what the vREF is just by getting a feel how the aircraft responds, and then also using manual braking just to be sure, so I don't have a similar landing at Innsbruck as last time, where the Zibo Mod came to a full stop. So just for you know, the sake of this challenge, I'm going to use manual brakes on the PMDG 737 as well. That's about it. Let's find out if you can see the runway. The visibility is not that good. We got crosswind from the left from about 20 knots gusting to 35, so it should be quite challenging. So let's find out. I'm going to disconnect all the automation and fly the thing manually. Okay, here we go. Now, of course, I do have a lot of experience flying the PMDG 737, so I might be a bit biased. There we go, the automation has been switched off. I'm just going to turn off the flight directors as well. I'm just going to reduce the speed to final approach speed. As you can see, Gibraltar is right over here. And yeah, I'm going to try to maintain 2000 and just fly the approach. Of course, the visual conditions are not that good, unfortunately. I might have had to set the visibility a bit higher, or actually do an RNF approach in these conditions, but hey, it adds to the challenge, you know. So I'm just gonna fly into the bay right here. I'm gonna reduce the speed. Just as a reference, I think I'm gonna select a arrival here, so I can see the extended center line of the runway. That's kind of useful. There we go. So I've set a runway so I can see the extended center line, and other than that I'm just going to rely on my visuals. So not sure what the official procedure is here, so I'm just going to fly over the bay and then just kind of guess what my altitude should be. Okay, I'm going to maintain 1500 feet roundabout. So of course Gibraltar has a very short runway. I'm going to put the gear down, flaps 15. Which adds to the challenge. And then there's of course the rock off to the side, which you know, will generate a lot of turbulence in real life. I'm not sure if it's simulated that well right here, but we'll see. So there's the rain is kicking in. Let's see if you can see the runway. Not yet. I can see the harbor though, and I will try to maintain about 135 knots, something like that. The aircraft is not that heavy. I'm gonna set the flaps to 30. So as you can see on the navigation display, we have indeed a crosswind from the left, and I can see the poppy lights. Zoom in on the ND a little bit. So we're about 4 miles out, so we should be about 1200 feet right now. I think we're doing pretty well though. As you can see, the speed tape is jumping a lot. What I don't like about PMDG and Prepared though is that the speed tape jumps are not smooth. It's not like you can see the wind increasing incrementally. I'm eager to find out what it looks like in X-Plane 11 in a moment. Alright, so the runway is a bit hard to see. Flaps are 30, speed brake is armed, landing gear down, and the engine start switches on to continuous, I think, yeah, there we go. Okay, well, runway is in sight. Okay. We're on the glide path, speed is a bit high, it seems like. Okay, going well so far. Floating a lot, but put it down on time. There we go. And now, of course, we need to make sure we make it to a full stop, which is pretty difficult, but hey, we've landed. Alright, that was the first try in Prepared. Now, I got to say, it's a little bit challenging, especially once you get to final with all those winds. It can get very gusty, and you know, you have to land on time. Actually, my landing was too late. At these kind of airports, you really want to land in the touchdown zone. So, but anyway, it was a good experience. You know, the flight dynamics are okay. Not sure if they are entirely realistic. So let's fire up X-Plane 11 now and find out how different it is. I'm really eager to find out. So now I have to set the same weather conditions. Now it's a little bit different right here, so I have to make sure that I do it properly. Just make sure that's exactly the same, and then a speed of 20 knots, moderate turbulence, gust speed increase. Okay, that's kind of interesting because I assume that that will be added on top of the current wind, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be 50 knots. Shear amount, now in Prepared you cannot set that with other settings. 20 degrees. I'm just gonna leave it. I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. In Prepared I set 1/3. So I'm not sure how I have to. Well, I think I'll just set it to 30 degrees, which is 1/3 of this slider. I think that will also work. So that's the wind layer for today. Okay, well, I think the weather is pretty much the same right now, so I'll just fire it up and see what happens. I'm just gonna set the time to 12 local. The conditions look pretty similar, I have to say, from what I can see here. So I'm just gonna take the aircraft off again, load it with some fuel, and then bring it back to its original location, kind of. And again, this is a freeware scenery, very good for freeware scenery. You can also see actual cars crossing the runway here, which is very interesting about this airport. So I have to put the landing lights on, make sure they don't cross the runway when we're landing. Alright, so I took the aircraft off, which was an interesting experience. As you can see, the wind shear alarms are going off, all kinds of things are going off. I even reduced some of the wind settings, but somehow the wind shear warning now keeps going off. So I'm sorry if you keep hearing that. But anyway, I'll try my best to land this airplane. I've reduced the wind conditions a little bit, just removing the shear and also the gust. I think I'm gonna put the gust back on because the wind shear alarm seems to be going off anyway. So anyways, you can see there's already a big difference here. You know, if you have certain settings in Prepared version 4 regarding weather, by no means does that mean that you'll get the same effects in X-Plane 11. Which one is more realistic? I really don't know. It seems a bit exaggerated here. As you can see, the aircraft is moving about a lot, and this constant wind shear alarm that I definitely would not have gotten in the Prepared version 4, even when using Active Sky. So, interesting experience so far. We'll see what happens. I'm just gonna fly the same approach and try to land this airplane. Okay, here we go. autopilot and auto throttle are disconnected. I'm gonna turn the flight directors off. There we go. So the aircraft is very, very responsive. To be honest, I'm not sure if that's very realistic for a 737. It gets shaken about that much. But who knows? Definitely, I can already tell, it's a lot more challenging to land this airplane, I bet, once I get closer to the runway than to land the PMDG 737 in similar conditions. And as you can see, the conditions themselves are not that similar in the first place. So, okay, we're gonna reduce speed. It's gonna do about 135 knots again, maybe 140 this time. Now I would need a lot of control inputs at this stage. And again, I'm not sure if that's entirely realistic. GPWS system going crazy. Of course, you would get wind shear right now. You would already go around, make some maneuver to escape the wind shear, but I think that's just a part of the Zibo mod that's not modeled correctly yet. We're about 5 miles out. I think the altitude is okay. I got the rock inside. In the meantime, the aircraft is moving finally. Even if I keep my hands off this control column now, it's just moving about crazy. I'm trying to correct it, but it's definitely quite difficult. Ooh, check that vertical speed. That's crazy. Being pushed down a lot right here. Wow. I mean, if I would encounter a situation like this in Prepared, I would definitely go around by this point. See how much input I need to give? Wow. Now the challenging part is definitely with X-Plane 11 here. I mean, landing this in these conditions in Prepared was not even that difficult, but this is a true challenge. Whether it's realistic, again, I don't know. To my feeling, it's a bit exaggerated. I mean, normal planes land in these conditions as well. You know, maybe at larger airports, but then still, yeah. Not sure. I'm a bit high. At least we are stabilized in front of the runway right now. I don't like these control inputs. They are way too much for comfort. In reality, I would guess. It's terrible. Oh. Well. See if we can at least touch down. Well, I don't think so. Let's go around. This is terrible. Go around, flaps 15. Gear up. Just gonna maintain runway heading, stabilize the airplane, and kind of reduce the wind settings because this is crazy. This is just crazy. So, as you can see, I'm just reducing the wind speed a little bit here. The gust speed increased, turbulence to mild, shear has been going all the way to 0. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to change really. I mean, this is a pretty normal wind conditions at a windy day, maybe in fall, or it should be okay right now. At least better to do than previously. So let's find out. Now, as you can see, with these settings, the conditions are a lot more stable. I don't have the wind shear warning anymore. It kind of looks similar to what I saw in Prepared. Kind of the same movements, you know, in terms of how the airplane reacts to the wind. So I'm now going to just turn back and line up for an approach to runway 09 at Gibraltar. And let's hope we can actually land this time. Again, I don't know, you know, if the wind settings in Prepared, you know, were too exaggerated but not simulated well, or whether the wind settings in X-Plane 11, you know, the same wind settings are simulated more close to reality than in Prepared. I don't know, but to me, you know, those kind of conditions are, you know, conditions airplanes here at Amsterdam land, you know, during an autumn storm. So at least when you look at the METAR and see the wind speeds. So I don't know, but anyways, I'm gonna land the airplane hopefully now properly. Again, just using visual references. By the way, I like the way the wipers work. That's something that's also still missing in PMDG aircraft, at least. Although they are adding it soon, I believe. Adding rain effects, which would be very nice and appreciated. See on the navigation display, I've set up for the RNAV approach in the flight management system, but of course I'm not following it entirely. As you can see, if you would follow that, the final approach turn is very tight in reality. But since the first time I'm landing here, I'm just going to give myself some extra margin. And it looks like we're kind of stable right now, so I'm very hopeful. Again, getting those wind shear warnings.
400.
Okay.
Wind shear.
And the wind shear warning. Really have to closely monitor the vertical speed. It's definitely very difficult to land here.
100. Wind shear.
Okay.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, we touched down. Or not. I think we did. It's bumpy. See if my reverses want to work. Applying full manual brakes. It's definitely not easy. But I think we made it. Wow. That is challenging. If this matches reality, then I mean, I can see how difficult to land how difficult it is to land the 737, especially at an airport like this in bad weather conditions. But again, I'm just not really sure if it matches reality very well. It seems to be a bit exaggerated in my opinion. But of course I cannot tell. If you're a real-world pilot and see this, please let me know. If you see the wind and weather conditions that I've set, if you match them to what your experience is landing at any airport with such weather conditions, let me know if this is exaggerated or not. I would be really interested to hear the stories, because this is quite interesting. But again, you know, this is all for free. This is just Explain 11. Of course, that's a simulator that you actually have to buy. But all the add-ons, the airport as well, and this Zibo mod 737 is free. I think there's a lot of room for development. You know, if you could get the systems right without the wind shear warnings all the time, and maybe tweak the flight model here and there, so it, you know, responds more realistically to winds and gusts, I think this could be very interesting. So I hope you liked this comparison video, doing a landing challenge here at Gibraltar Airport. I definitely enjoyed it. Very interesting to see. As you can see in the conditions, using the exact same, well, pretty much exact same weather settings in Prepared, we're definitely not as bad in Prepared as in Explain 11. It's very interesting to see in the first place. I probably would not have landed at this airport if, you know, doing these approaches in the first place, because it was just crazy. So let me know down in the comments if you would like to see more of these comparison videos. I'd be happy to try it out for you. But do keep in mind, you know, this was just testing the landing, testing the flight dynamics and the modeling, not focusing on the system. So don't bash me in the comments that I did not set the vREF speeds and things like that. It's really about feeling what the aircraft feels like. Very simple. That's what I usually do when I test any simulator or a new airport, new aircraft. Anyway, let me know down in the comments, and I will probably be doing more of these videos, and we should definitely keep an eye out on Explain 11 development. It's very, very interesting. So make sure you check out my other videos, also my video where I try Explain 11 for the first time, and my flight from Vienna to Innsbruck in the Zibo mod 737. And I will hopefully see you again next time. Thanks for watching. See ya.